chill, we're flowing, we're rolling, we're going. Alright. I'm a little bit late today. Can't lie. Oh. But you know what? It's fine. We eventually got to it. We're going. We're doing Gen 2 today. I had to completely remake this tier list. Because I accidentally closed out the window the last time I finished it. It's like, dang. So that's down the drain, and then I gotta remake it, so it'll be ready for the next one. I did change around a couple rankings. Nothing really significant. I changed around Alolan Meowth, and I actually put it in C tier, or where did I put it actually? Yeah, I put it in C tier. I did have it in D tier before, and I'm like, that's not really fair to it. And there was one more I switched around, I think. I forget what it is. But, yeah. I'm just sorry. I'm still in the process of waking up, I'm pretty sure. Maybe. I don't know. Oh, God, I'm being weird. Anyway, here we go. Gen 2, alright? And starting off hot, alright? All the Gen 2 starters are like top tier. Easily, okay? They all go up here, alright? All the stages of Chikorita, because Chikorita is amazing and Chikorita gets so much hate, okay? It's not Chikorita's fault. Chikorita was introduced or brought into a generation that hates grass types, okay? Johto hates grass types. That's not against Chikorita. That is simply just the hand that Chikorita was dealt, which is why, more than likely, I'm choosing Chikorita in Legend ZA, because Chikorita needs love, alright? I am a fire starter guy, but Chikorita needs love. And all Gen 2 starters are amazing. Their first stages, at least. I think the whole line for Chikorita, absolutely amazing. People love Bayleaf, and I understand Bayleaf is solid, and also the anime. The anime gave a lot of love to Bayleaf. But Meganium's also really good. Meganium's cool. Meganium's majestic. We need to start respecting Meganium. Cyndaquil is phenomenal. I love Cyndaquil. Quilava and Typhlosion, though, I like them. Quilava is a solid. I know a lot of people prefer Quilava the most out of the line, but I'm very neutral on them. Yeah, they're all going, okay? I know, lower the pitchforks, okay? When it came to Legends Arceus, I chose Cyndaquil and I didn't evolve him. I have a level 100 Cyndaquil and I'm happy with that. I didn't want my little guy to evolve. I really I love Cyndaquil. However, the first time I ever played Gen 2 was Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I have played Gold and Crystal now. But my very first starter in Gen 2 was Totodile. And I love Totodile. The other evolutions have grown on me. I don't like them as much as Totodile. Like Croconaw, I did not like Croconaw for a very long time. Eventually, though, I did come around to it, and I think Croconaw is actually a pretty chill guy. But I do love Feraligatr. I think Feraligatr might be my favorite out of all the crocodile and alligator Pokemon. My bad, apologies. But Feraligatr's super solid, super chill. Sentret. Listen, there will be no Sentret and Ferret hate here, okay? Amazing normal type, amazing early route Pokemon. Furret is the best, and not even just because of the Furret walking meme. No, just Furret and Sentret are solid. I have always loved them. Just they're adorable. Hoot Hoot and Noctowl, easily one of the best flying type Pokemon there are, in my opinion. Like Spearow, Fearow, I love them as well, and Hoot Hoot and Noctowl are right up there with them. Ladybug, okay. So again, this is going based on my personal preference. This isn't based on stats or anything, because I know Ladybug and Ladian suck. Jon Snow, how are you doing today? So again, stats aside, we aren't going off stats here. I'm just going purely based on how I feel. And for some reason, Ladian's grown on me a little bit. Okay, before Ladian would have been like D or F, but I've grown to a part where Ladian is pretty chill with me. I kind of actually want to use one in a playthrough. It's just going to be difficult because Ladian does have bad stats, but that's never stopped me, especially because in my playthrough with Crystal, I ran Totodile, didn't evolve him. I just kept it Totodile. And you know what? Totodile was a menace. Okay. Spinarak, probably my favorite spider Pokemon. Okay, if I were to choose Spinarak and Ariados or Joltik and Galvantula, I'm choosing Ariados every time. Crobat, S tier. This Pokemon was a much needed evolution for Golbat. I stream 5 days a week. That's when I typically stick around. Jon Snow, thank you for the follow. Oh, my bad. Where was I? Golbat was stupid. Okay, Golbat's CS in neutral. I think I put. No, I put. Yeah, I put Golbat in neutral. I love Zubat's design. It's very simple, simplistic, but it's solid. Golbat looks so stupid to me. Its Gen 1 sprite is the only thing that's like redeeming about it. Just looks like he got hit by a bus. I love it, but Crobat is such a solid, good, cool looking Pokemon. The purple's really nice. The fierceness it gives off. It's also still wild that the Zubat's line is the only flying poison type we have. I'm just ranking all Gen 2 Pokemon and just ranking how I feel about them. That's all. Very simple, very chill. Something to kind of put on in the background, you know? Chinchou? Okay, for a long time, I didn't know how to feel about Chinchou. It was one of those weird mons that was kind of just there for me. However, the more I look at it and the more I see it, the more I actually really enjoy it. I prefer Chinchou a little bit more than Lantern. I just think its oblong head and just kind of that the empty thoughts I feel like goes in Chinchou's head is great. Okay, so here's Johto's my favorite region. Gen 2 is my favorite generation. Heart Gold, Soul Silver's pretty big part to blame for that. Now here's where people are gonna hate me or lose me. Um, Pichu is my favorite electric type. Okay, it's adorable. It's perfect. It's a perfect baby evolution for Pikachu. They knocked it out the park with Pichu. I don't care that people wanted an evolution for Raichu. I prefer Pichu. I think Pichu was the right way to go instead of an evolution for Raichu. Okay, I'll fight everyone on that. Cleffa is honestly solid. I do like how it looks more than Clefairy and Clefable. Clefable goes. Clefairy is. Okay, so Cleffa is cute. Clefairy starts to go into that ugly cute territory, and then Clefable's kind of just ugly. But it still works into the evolution line. It's not bad. Um, okay. Again, like I said in the previous video, I got Igglybuff, a shiny one, and a Nuzlocke, and it was one of my top mons that carried me through. And I just love the Igglybuff line. It's the Wigglytuff line is such a solid line. It gets so much hate, but listen. I don't care about stats. I'm talking about the Pokemon, and the Wigglytuff line is top tier. Some of the best of Gen 1. I know Igglybuff's Gen 2, but listen, I put them all together. Togepi, I mean, you can't hate Togepi. Especially because I did use one in, what was it? I think it was either my Gold or Crystal playthrough. Because I played through Soul Silver, I played through Gold, and I played through Crystal. And I used Togetic in one of them, and Togetic was great. I really enjoyed it. I think they're even better now that they have the Fairy type. But Natu, I have never used a Natu. I have opened my Soul Silver save account. Save account? No. I have opened my Soul Silver game, and for some reason, somehow, Natu is in the Hall of Fame. Not Xatu, Natu is in the Hall of Fame, and I never remember catching one. I never remember bringing it through the game. I don't know how Natu got there. But Natu's there, and I've always wanted to use one. I just have no recollection of using Natu. However, I think they're super solid designs. I think they're chill. I like them. I like them a lot. Now, where did it go? We lost Xatu, guys. Xatu's gone. There we go. Also, I'm looking at these right now. I don't know the gender difference. I'm looking right now. Apparently there's a gender difference. I don't know what it is. Mareep. Okay. So the debate is always Mareep or Wooloo, right? Which one's better? Which one's the better sheep Pokemon? The answer is Mareep. There's no debate. Mareep's better typing. Wooloo's cute, yes, but all in all, for like a complete solid evolution line, Mareep takes the cake. Wooloo's fine, but then it evolves into Dubwool and it loses a lot of the charm. I think Mareep somehow just gets more charming as it evolves, and it's great. Mega Ampharos was probably a Mega Evolution I just wasn't expecting. In fact, like, it's kind of middle of the road for me. I don't really care. I prefer normal Ampharos to its Mega. It gains the Dragon typing. Cool. But listen, it doesn't need it. It doesn't need it. Ampharos is solid by itself. Bellossom. Yeah, I like Bellossom. Never used one, but I do like the Pokemon. Meryl, oh boy. Yeah, I don't care about abilities or stats. Again, I'm going purely based off the Pokemon, okay? I know people will use Azumarill only if it has huge power because they're like, oh, it's such a bad mon otherwise. Listen, if you saw this thing, you're telling me you wouldn't want it. Like in real life, okay? This adorable little aqua rabbit mouse comes up to you and you're going to be like, no, because you don't have an ability. No, you're taking this thing along. It's going to be your little buddy. It's going to follow you everywhere and you're going to love it. Sudowoodo. Okay. This is a goofy little rock guy. You can't hate Sudowoodo. Maybe you can. Maybe you can. But if you do, I think you're in the wrong for that. Sudowoodo is solid. Sudowoodo is great. Just so goofy. And honestly, the fact that they make him run at Mach 10 in all the latest games, hilarious. It's amazing. I love it. Just scaring him in Scarlet Violet is great, just to see the dust kick up. Politoed is so much better than Poliwrath. The split evolutions were a very weird thing that I think was introduced, but much needed. And what chaos are they causing? What are y'all doing? Chill. Chill. Yeah? We good? Okay. Politoed is a much better evolution and a much more solid evolution to Poliwhirl, because I said it before and I think everyone has said it. Poliwrath is just an angrier Poliwhirl. And it's honestly such a disappointment of an evolution. I think the only time I've ever liked Poliwrath is in the mangas, the Pokemon Adventure mangas, and I'm pretty sure that's the only time I've ever liked Poliwrath. Besides that, though, Poliwrath is garbage. Politoed is a much better, much more logical evolution to Poliwhirl. Hoppip. I have used Hoppip on, it was either my Gold or Crystal team. But I love Hoppip. God awful typing. I completely understand that. But we're not here about typings. We're here about the Pokemon. And my God. No, you're not meant to be in B. You're meant to be put in A. Because Hoppip deserves love. The empty look it has in its eyes just through the whole evolution line is hilarious. For some reason in Scarlet and Violet, they make you feel sad about Gempluff and the fact that it just eventually dies when all its cotton puffs go away. Which is why? Why would you do that, Game Freak? Why? My bad. It's such just a happy-go-lucky Pokemon, and then you go and be like, yeah, it dies once it flies around long enough. No, I'm never letting it out of its Pokeball. That way it can just live. You're telling me I let this thing float around as its little cotton puffs go about and it dies? No, that's god awful. Why would they say that? Apom? Now listen, when it comes to monkey Pokemon, alright, I think there's only one other monkey Pokemon that I like better than Apom, but Apom is such... Apom's goofy, Apom's great. Apom had a star role in the anime. I mean, you know, starting with Ash's Apom, then it became Dawn's everything, and then it became Ambipom, which right now I still don't know how I'm going to rank Ambipom. It could go either way, but Apom, solid Pokemon. Sunkern and Sunflora. The lowest space stats of any Pokemon before. I don't care. I won't lie. I actually really like Sunkern. And Sunflora, it's fine. It's good. I do like Sunkern a bit more than Sunflora, though. I can't explain why I like Sunkern. Maybe because it just looks so happy. Maybe because it's just a seed without any care in the world, and I love that for it. Yanma, oh, yep. Come at me. Yanma's solid. Yanma's great. But before abilities were even introduced or it got speed boost, all that, I love Yanma. It took a while to grow on me because I've never used one. I used one in the Scarlet and Violet DLC, not Indigo Disc, but Teal Mask, and I loved them. I caught a shiny one, and I'm like, you know what? The blue looks so solid. It looks good. I want to use it, and Yanma was great. Wooper, there is no dissing the Wooper. All right, everyone here, everyone and their mother, their ancestors, God Himself loves Wooper. All right, Wooper deserves no other spot besides S. All right, there's no debate. There's no discussion about it. Quagsire is still really solid. I do like it a bit less than Wooper, but I do love me some Quagsire. It is one of the dopiest Pokemon. Like Quagsire and Slowpoke, they hang out all the time. Just the absolute level of dopiness and no thoughts. They hang out all the time and then just stare off into space. Okay. Espeon is a super solid evolution. And Umbreon is an even more solid evolution. In fact, I gotta put Flareon in S now that I think about it because of the fact that it is always going on in my head whether I love Umbreon or Flareon more. I can't decide. They're basically on equal grounds for me, and I know how solid Umbreon is. It like makes the top 10 of like favorite Pokemon and everything. I get that. Flareon deserves way more love though. Flareon is dissed on like no tomorrow. It is a super fluffy, fire-breathing Eevee. And you're gonna tell me that it's garbage? No. No, ain't happening. These two, super solid. Murkrow, I do love me the Crow. Alright? I don't think I've actually used a Murkrow yet. I haven't used a Honchkrow. But I do enjoy capturing them, even though I've never really ran one. I should actually probably change that, and I should probably work on, putting one on my team at one of these points. Slowking? Okay. So, Slowking does not give the same vibes as Slowbro, but Slowking's not a bad evolution. It's one of those split evolutions where I was intrigued by it, found it interesting that they did it, but I don't think it was unnecessary. It gives some diversity to what you can do with Slowpoke, whether you want it to be more of a wall or more of an attacker, and that's chill. Can y'all chill? No? Alright. You know what? I'm gonna let them do their thing. They're gonna be fine in the background, and that's fine. They will figure it out. Misdreavus? Okay, Misdreavus is up there with my favorite ghost types. You'll see in a little bit for the next gen, which Ghost type will be joining Misdreavus, but Misdreavus is absolutely solid. It's super upsetting to me to this day still that Morty, for some reason, being the Ghost type gym leader in Gen 2, did not use the only Ghost type introduced in Gen 2. You're telling me that the Ghost type of that generation he didn't use on his team, okay? I know that Gen 2 has some pretty bad gyms, especially with their Pokemon selection and the Pokemon not really representing the Gen 2 when there's plenty of options for what they could do. Like Faulkner could have easily used a Hoot Hoot and a Noctowl. Bugsy could have used a Ladian and a Spinarak. So that is a bit upsetting. Okay. All unknowns, I'm not going to worry about putting them on this list. Because their rankings, honestly, for me, would be everywhere. Because for some reason, when it comes to letters, I do have a preference for how they look. No, what? No. Okay. We're going to do it. All right. Get ready for the alphabet. How do we rank the alphabet? Okay. Most of them are just going to be put in neutral. That's how most of them are going to go. Okay. But B, you're telling me this is what they do with B? No. B gets put down there. C's a pretty chill fella. I like how C looks. D, you know what D is? That's a very solid D. Some of these unknown letters took me forever to figure out just because they don't look like the letter. And that's fine because it does give them that little bit of a Pokemon feel or a bit of that ancient text feel that they're going for, right? Heathens at all times. Okay. E. E is a bit much. All right. So I know I just said like I can't even tell what B is. All right. E's going a bit over the top though. Okay. E is just an E. What is wrong with y'all? E is just E. F is kind of cool though, okay? F is a little bit of a vibe. I didn't know for a long time that was the letter F because it doesn't really look like it too much. After you look at it for a while, yeah, you can tell it's F, but it takes a while. Okay, G. The only reason it's not going in D is because I like how it looks. I could not tell you for the life of me that was G until I learned what the unknown alphabet was, and then I understood what all the letters were, and I was able to read it. But before I could do that, I could not tell you what G was. At no point does that give off G. I despise it. However, despite it trying to represent G, it looks goofy, and it's great. Looks like a little spring. H is a driving wheel, and that's great. I picture just someone having the H unknown and just constantly holding it like a steering wheel. And it's just in turmoil because it wants to float, and it's just like, no, you're my wheel. I is a bit stupid, but not in a bad way. J Jay's gonna go and see. I thought about first like putting it in B, and I'm like, nah. K is giving duck lips. Okay, this doesn't look like a K. If they wanted to do K, I feel like they should have extended these nubs further than they did, but it just looks like a duck. And you know what? Yeah, it's I with duck lips is what's going on. L, I mean, M could not for the life of me figure out for the longest time that this was M. This letter infuriated me. All right, it's fine now, but it did infuriate me. N's fine. I got no opinions about N. O is also a steering wheel, and you know what? We respect steering wheels. P, yeah, nothing wrong with it. Also, every now and then I do have to say the alphabet in my head, so if I pause because I just can't think off the top of my head what letter comes next. Q. I actually really like Q. Q might go in B because it looks like a key. It reminds me of a key. Q is the key to unlocking the secrets of unknown. R looks dumb. They couldn't come up with anything else for R. That's what they did for R. S is pretty dope. Okay, S is dope. T's fine. I got no issues, no qualms. V. So you're telling me with all the other open letters, like K, they're fine with just leaving a gap open, but B, they close it off. This is, again, one of those letters that I could not figure out till I actually figured out how to read the unknown alphabet. W just looks like a big claw, and I kind of dig that about it. X is solid. Y is honestly might be my favorite unknown. There's something about it. It looks constantly surprised. They gave it those little antennas to obviously represent the Y, but they did it in such a way that just looks constantly surprised or excited, and that's great. And Z is also just an interesting letter. These two, though, oh yeah. These ones have personality. I don't know why, for some reason, they made the exclamation mark and the question mark look so begrudgingly done with everything. But I love that. I love that they gave them just a little bit of difference to be like, okay, these are some weird unknowns to add in, but here you go. These two, easily the best unknowns. Wobbuffet. Alright, so this is why I am putting the genders in here. I wasn't going to do the genders at first, but I realized there are some gender differences that I have different opinions about. And female Wobbuffet irks me in a weird way. Because I feel like, God, it's so stupid that it's kind of amusing what they did with the female Wobbuffet. However, at the same time, I feel like they could have done something different if they did want to give this Pokemon a gender difference. But Wobbuffet is solid. I have never used a Wobbuffet and probably never will. Maybe. Just because Wobbuffet is literally a Pokemon that can learn no attack. I do want to use a Pyukumuku though, and Pyukumuku is the same thing. You can't use any direct attack. So maybe I will run a Wobbuffet at this point. Maybe I'll run a Wobbuffet and a Pyukumuku on the same team. Alright? Just absolutely hate myself like that. But anyone who uses a Wobbuffet, good on you. I'll try to find it's going to be a struggle for me to try to find a way to make it work, right? But I would. Especially when I was a kid. My God. it didn't matter what the move was or the strategy. It was, oh, this does more damage. Let me equip that move. I didn't even know about like stat differentials, the attack and special attack. I just saw the base power and I'm like, okay, that's a good move to equip. Even if it wasn't for, you know, even if the Pokemon wasn't supposed to be a special attack or a physical attacker. Um, Kid brain, So, for a long time, Girafarig was my least favorite Pokemon. I I can't really tell you why, looking back on it, but for a long time, I really hated Girafarig. I'm indifferent to it now. It's honestly kind of cute now. But for a very long time, Girafarig was my least favorite Pokemon. However, it is now out of the trenches. It is now no longer thrown in the ditch by me. I respect Girafarig. Farigiraf is also a really cool evolution, and I think Girafarig deserved an evolution. Um, but yeah, I couldn't tell you why I hated this Pokemon so much, but I did. You'll see what my least favorite Pokemon is later on in other generations. I love Johto, so honestly, kind of all these Pokemon here, I'm not going to have the worst opinion about. Pineco, I'm kind of neutral about. Fortress is actually really cool. I feel like more people should use Fortress if they want a wall. I also didn't register till just a little bit ago that this generation introduced us to two bug steel types, which is chill. It's also interesting to see what they did with the bug steel types because they're two very opposite ends of the spectrum. One's the attacker, one's the wall. So I actually kind of like that. We all know though that Scissor is the better out of those two bug steel types, but I still really like Fortress. I love Dunsparce. I think everyone who's saying that Dunsparce needed one, an evolution is wrong, and two, that the evolution should be like normal dragon type or flying dragon, whatever. I don't care. I think Dunsparce is perfect as he is. The ideas for an evolution, I don't care. It's fine to have your opinions about it. That's fine. I'm not calling you stupid if you wanted a certain type of evolution for Dunsparce. Well, I'm here to say that Dunsparce did not need an evolution. However, the way they handled his evolution is perfect. It is the best evolution they could have done, and the reason why I think they did it more than anything was to just irk the people even more who wanted an evolution for Dunsparce. And if that is the case, if they legit just made the Dunsparce to irk the people even more, my god, I love Pokemon for that. Because Dunsparce is amazing. I love Dunsparce so much. And you know what? The Dunsparce is the perfect way they could have evolved it if they did give it an evolution. Gligar, my boy. Whoop. I gotta put it right up here. Okay, when it comes to my top 6 favorite Pokemon, I'll be putting them, all up here in that top row. In fact, let me just get it out the way now, okay? So, Heracross, right up there, okay? If I had my perfect team of 6, these 4 would be on it, and the other 2 Pokemon that are on it will not be till later generations. But I've said it before on other platforms like TikTok and everything about what my 6 favorite Pokemon are. And these are 4 of the 6 right off the bat. and they are just the best of the best. However, the female Heracross I do like a bit less. It's still solid because it's Heracross. I do like it a bit less though. And Mega Heracross is phenomenal. I'm so happy that they gave it a Mega Evolution. And I know they're introducing new Mega Evolutions in ZA. I mean, we already got Mega Dragonite. And so there will be other Pokemon. However, when X and Y came out, the only Mega I ran was Mega Blastoise. And I think in ZA, I usually try to stick to that generation Pokemon. However, if I'm choosing a Mega to have on my team, I'm getting Heracross so I can have and use Mega Heracross so I can actually, show more love to my boy. But these Pokemon, phenomenal. The best of the best. In fact, I'll put the Mega Evolution up there too. Steelix. I think what they did for Onix was great. I think Onix, it's good that Onix got one. Onix is cool on his own. Onix is solid. But Steelix is just so much cooler. And my god, Steelix is terrifying. If I saw Steelix in real life, I'd just simply die from shock and horror. The thing wouldn't even have a choice. Hey! Hey, it's fine. Calm down. Calm down. It's fine. Yeah, see? Chill. We're all chill. We're all vibing here. Okay. Cool? We good? We Gucci? You rocking out? Yeah? Okay. Steelix. Just to get through it. Yes. Dope. It's cool that I got Mega Evolution. It's a sick Mega Evolution. Let's see. Snubble. I actually really like Snubble. Not enough to go into A. However, I will put respect on Snubble. Yeah, I think it's pretty chill. Could it use another evolution? Maybe. But again, we're not going off evolution lines. We're going how we feel about that particular Pokemon. I don't care about the strength, stats, what it evolves into. I'm going based off of the Pokemon itself. And Gramble, I like it. It's chill. I think its design is a bit simple. However, there's nothing wrong with that. If they were to do a little bit more with it, though, it would probably go to A. Quillfish. Okay. People are going to be mad at me for this, probably, but I love Quillfish. Quillfish is such a dopey, weird Pokemon, and it's great. And it got a Hisuian form, which, you know what, I'm chill with. I like both forms. I think they're both cool. I like them both a lot. Scizor. Oh, yeah. Scizor is an easy... Oh. So I've never used a Scizor, right? And none of my playthroughs have I used a Scizor because I don't have the friends for the trading. I don't have the friends to give a Scyther a metal coat, trade it over, and them to trade it back to me, right? I don't have that. So I have never used a Scizor. But I can't deny how dope Scizor is. Scizor is super cool, and it's definitely debatable whether it's a favorite for me or just I really enjoy it. But I think I'm going to put it in A simply for the fact that I haven't used it, and if I were to use it and gain even more of an opinion based off of it that way, I'd probably feel different about it. However, going based off of just looks with no personal biases or anything, Scizor is dope. It was a very cool, very solid option for Scyther. And I also like how it has the same base stat total. That way you can choose what you want to do with it, what route you want to go. If you want to keep it Flying Bug, which, yes, bad typing, but Scyther still looks cool. Or if you want to go Bug Steel, which is yes, a better typing, but also just the coloring, the design, so good. Shuckle. Oh yeah, Shuckle's going up here too. Look, Gen 2 had such good bug types, except Ladybug and Ladian. Besides that, the bug types, amazing. Um, and also, Sneasel. I don't know whether to call Sneasel the best dark type or the best ice type, but it's definitely one of those for me. We'll go through, as we go through and we see all the other dark and ice types, that'll be debated. But also Hisuian Sneasel, absolutely adore this thing. I used a Hisuian Sneasel in Legends Arceus, didn't evolve it to Sneasler. I kept it Hisuian Sneasel, and I absolutely love it. The shinies for both of them also super good. But I love me Sneasel. I don't care for, well, its evolutions we'll get to, but just know that I prefer Sneasel. Teddy Ursa is great. Teddy Ursa is the most adorable cub bear there is. There's Teddy Ursa and Cub Chew. Teddy Ursa is better. All right, that's all there is to it. And Ursaring, okay, Ursaring for a long time was very boring to me. Very plain. I didn't really care for Ursaring, but over time it's grown on me. Especially because of my Pokemon D&D that I'm running. Ursaring is a ongoing joke for how it almost absolutely wiped out the party. And for that reason, I love Ursaring. Slugma, my god, Slugma needs more love. Slugma and Magcargo need more love. They get so much hate. And yes, Fire Rock. Maybe not the best typing, but we're not here for the typings. We're here for the Pokemon themselves. And while it probably took me a while for them to grow on me, they did. And they're great, and they're lovely, and they are just chill little slug dudes. We need to show love to Slugma and Magcargo. Also, I do love how in the early gens, the early sprites before they fixed it in Crystal, his eyes were on the edge of his ears, like his fire ears. They were up there. That was goofy. I am happy they fixed it and put them down here because I think that just looks better than they did up here on the ears. Swinub. I mean, what's to hate about Swinub? You gotta love Swinub. Piloswine. Piloswine, I'm not a huge fan of. I think once they gave it Mamoswine, my opinion about it goes back up. But Piloswine is that weird middle stage, and I think it did really good getting a final third stage evolution. Corsola, actually really like. I think Corsola's adorable. It's cute. I feel so bad for it and its Galarian counterpart. Corsola lives a very sad, very tragic life, with Marini always eating them. Gosh dang, that's horrifying. And then what Galarian Corsola represents, and it's just sad on sad on sad. Remoraid? Yeah, Remaraid's a solid fish Pokemon. It's cool. I like it. People hate this evolution, but honestly, because they're like, it makes no sense. Listen, have you ever looked at Digimon? Have you ever watched Digimon? Try to make sense out of those evolutions, because let me tell you, they don't. Okay? It's okay if Pokemon has a couple evolutions where they're a bit weird, alright? I think this is completely fine. Delibird, yeah, I'm neutral about Delibird. I don't hate it, I don't love it, but Delibird is just a goofy little Santa fella, and I appreciate him for that. Mantine, I've never used one, so I can't form strong opinions about it one way or another. But I do like it. I think it's a solid manta ray. And honestly, it's kind of elegant. Skarmory? Oh yeah, Skarmory's great. My favorite? No, but I do really like Skarmory. I've never used one either. Another Pokemon I haven't used. Also, it would be cool to see Skarmory get a Mega Evolution. Just saying. Houndour? Oh yeah. Another Pokemon I have never used. But, my god. It is mainly because, I mean, yes, the one thing bad about Gen 2 is the fact that so many of the region's Pokemon are locked behind post game, which is just stupid. I will say that about Johto is that I can't give it credit for what they did with the Pokemon because they should not have locked Johto Pokemon behind post game in Kanto because the new Pokemon they should give you access to so you can get a feel for how you feel about them or so you can try the new typings and just see how it flows, right? They should do that and they didn't. And so I never have used a Houndour. You could easily use one in Scarlet and Violet, but when I play the new generation games, I try to use the new Pokemon for that generation. So I never got around to using it in X and Y for the Mega Evolution or anything like that. Um, okay, Kingdra being the only Dragon type introduced in Gen 2. Man, Gen 2 just loves their... I love Gen 2 so much. Do not get me wrong, okay? I love my Gen 2. I do acknowledge the fact that it did some things very poorly, very stupidly, and that being a one ghost type and one dragon type, and the dragon type's an evolution of an already existing Pokemon. Fampi? Okay. If there's any Fampi haters out there, who hurt you? Also, I'm moving Kingdra down a little bit because I don't know. It's I still like it. I just don't have any strong feeling towards it, but I do think it's a cool evolution. But Fampi and Donphan, my god, absolutely solid. Especially when it just, it's using rollout and it just goes dun 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 dun. It's great. It's great. That was stupid, but my point stands. Fampi and Donphan are solid. And again, I've never used a Fampi and Donphan. Never got to. I've had a few chances since then, again with Scarlet Violet and whatnot, but listen. We use the new Pokemon in the new generations. If I do another playthrough, though, like if I do another playthrough in Violet or something, because I played Scarlet, I own both. My wife's playing through Violet, and I played through Scarlet. I probably will use a Fampi and maybe a Houndour, though. Show some love to them. I might also buy the DLC for Violet, and then I might get a Slugma as well. I might just do a Gen 2 team of all the Pokemon that I never got to use before, and I'll just end up grabbing a Scyther and trading with myself so I can try a Scizor, and do the same thing so I can try a Fortress, because they both require the metal coat. Who knows? Porygon 2? Yeah, I'm neutral about it. I don't really care about it one way or another. It's right up there with its evolution. Porygon Z I do really like, and we'll get to that when it happens. But I don't think there's anything wrong with Porygon or Porygon 2. They're pretty fine. Stantler. Yep, I'm just putting it down there. I hate how Stantler looks. It's stupid looking. This might be the only Gen 2 Pokemon that I put down here. Just every time I see Stantler, just its stupid snout, its stupid cheeks, its stupid tail. I don't like Stantler. Smeargle is a goofy artist, though, and I respect Smeargle for everything he is. Tyrogue, I think, was a cool baby evolution. And then Hitmontop is just, I love Hitmontop. It's my favorite out of all three, obviously. Well, not obviously, because I put Hitmonlee up here too. So I'll put Hitmontop in front of Hitmonlee. Most of where I put these don't matter. But for this, yeah, I'll put Hitmontop above Hitmonlee. I do kind of hate how they butchered Hitmontop in the newer gens, where he kind of just slides on his feet. Because his whole thing, like his sprites were so cool, and him just spinning. What is wrong with you? And how it showed him spinning on his head, because that's his whole thing, because he's a top. He's a kicking top, and it's so cool, and they kind of butchered him in the later gens by just making him stand. And it's like, no! Be unique from your brothers, okay? Use that top that you're known for. But these two, easily the best. Hitmonchan is just too human-like for me. But the fact that Tyrogue was introduced with a new evolution to be like, hey, depending on how you raise them, will depend on which one you get. And I think that's cool. And was it gold or crystal that they give you the egg? I think it's crystal. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Because I kind of just played gold and crystal back to back. And I have my teams. Hold on. I actually have my teams popped up, okay? I'll go over my team some other day. So you guys can just like kind of see how weird my teams were. But okay. So Okay, so it was my Pokemon Crystal team. My Pokemon Crystal team was Totodile, Furret, Dunsparce, Crobat, Hitmontop, and Gligar. Alright? And then Togetic was on my gold team. And so was Jumpluff. I'll get to those some other point. My bad. Stay focused. But Hitmontop was on my Pokemon Crystal team. Because they give you that egg. And out of all the baby Pokemon, it hatched into Tyrogue. And I was actually super excited because I'm like, wait, that means I can get Hitmontop. And I didn't even try to get Hitmontop. Like, I was just going through battling with Tyrogue, getting it to level up because Tyrogue had a horrible moveset in Gen 2. And it's still not the greatest, but it's still better than it was. But I somehow, even with IVs and EVs being a thing, and me not knowing how they worked when I played through Crystal, I somehow managed to get Hitmontop. And I was ecstatic about that, especially now knowing in Scarlet and Violet how IVs and EVs work, and I understand that. And it's like, how did I end up with Hitmontop? Because I was just battling randomly. But I somehow managed to get them bounced out in just a perfect way and get Hitmontop, and I'm super happy with it. Hitmontop is easily one of my favorite fighting types. But you know what? No, actually, Hitmontop is going in S. It's not my favorite fighting type, but it is definitely up there. My favorite fighting type won't be shown till much later. Ooh, little prelude. Smoochum? Well, I don't hate it. I don't love it. It is odd that they made Jinx go from a opera singer and a center of controversy for a long time there. And they made it from a woman to a duck. Because that's what Smoochum is. Smoochum is a little duck-like creature. I don't even want to call it a duck. I want to call it a quack. I want to call it the sound that a duck makes because it looks like a quack. All right, but it's not a person. Its lips are more like a bill to me. It gives off duck energy to the extreme. Elekid, okay. I used an Elekid in my Nuzlocke. I didn't evolve it because I love Elekid. And Elekid is phenomenal and amazing. And I also used a Magby on my Black 2 White 2 game. I didn't evolve Magby either. I used a Magby on my Black 2 game. And I love both of these guys. I'm a huge fan of the baby evolutions. I know people are very split on those. And honestly, I think more people hate them than enjoy them. But I really enjoy the baby evolutions. Miltank, it's neutral for me. I know a lot of people will probably put it lower specifically because of Whitney. But listen, alright, just because Whitney's Miltank steamrolled us all does not mean that Whitney's Miltank or Miltank in general is a bad Pokemon. We just have bad memories with it. Blissey was definitely an odd introduction too, and I also like how Happiny came later on. They were just like, yeah, give Chansey a full evolution line, just split it up drastically. But Blissey's fine, just like Chansey, Blissey's fine. Raikou is my favorite out of the three dogs, cats, whatever you want to call them. Raikou's a cat, though. Raikou is literally a saber-toothed tiger. It is a saber-toothed tiger. Raikou is not a dog, it's a cat. Alright? There's no debate there. It's a saber-tooth. And last time I checked, it was a saber-toothed tiger. What's a tiger? A big breed cat. Entei, I think, can go either way, whether it's a dog or a cat. But it's still solid. Not as good as Raikou, though. And honestly, hold on. They're all going in A tier. I think this is probably one of my favorite legendary trios. I think the Lake Trio beats them out just a little bit, specifically because of his elf. But Raikou is super good, super cool, super amazing. So I am going to rank them like this. Entei, Suicune can go either way, but Raikou is my favorite out of the three. Larvitar is great. And Pupitar is a goofy, really mad pupa, and I kind of love that. And Tyranitar, okay, so I'm debating on whether or not to put them in S because they are my favorite pseudo legendaries. I think there's way too many dragon pseudos. So I'm happy that Tyranitar is not dragon type. It has a god awful typing, I can't lie. Rock Dark is not a good typing. But the typings right now don't matter. We're talking about the Pokemon themselves. And you're telling me that this isn't just a solid evolution line, alright? It goes from this cute little creature that I absolutely adore, Larvitar. And honestly, like, I'd be fine running just a Larvitar. But you're telling me to go from this cute thing to Godzilla, and that's not, like, the dopest pseudo there is? Like, come on now. And Mega Tyranitar, I do like it a bit less. I won't lie, I like Mega Tyranitar a bit less than the normal evolution line, but it's still good. Lugia is easily one of my favorite legendaries. Again, Soul Silver was my introduction to Gen 2 before I later went back and played Golden Crystal. But Lugia is so dang good. I honestly do like it more than Ho-Oh. And Ho-Oh is still good. Ho-Oh is still great, but Lugia has a special place in my heart. And then Celebi, there better be no Celebi haters. Celebi is an amazing mythical. It's great. I've contemplated shiny hunting it in Crystal because I still have not caught it in Crystal yet. I still have yet to catch the Celebi in my Crystal playthrough, and I'm debating whether or not to shiny hunt it because it can be shiny hunted. I just know the odds are much lower in the older gens before Gen 6. And so it's like, do I really want to soft reset 20 million times to get a pink Celebi? And I'm debating it hardcore. But Celebi is great. And with that, okay, we only added one to the E tier. We still have not hit F tier, okay? F tier, I'll tell you right now, 2 Pokemon are going in F tier. All right, what will those 2 Pokemon be? You'll see. 3 Pokemon might go in F tier, but yeah, you'll see that later on. But here's the current rankings. Okay, S has expanded a little bit. A, everything's expanded a little bit, obviously. Okay, but there's S, okay? Get that image, okay? Get mad at me however you wish for where I put my S's. There's A, get mad at me for my A's, that's fine. Get mad at me for my B's, I don't care. Because again, this is all opinion. Everyone has a different opinion. Everyone has different Pokemon. Okay, I just found out the other day that some people's favorite Pokemon was Sigilyph. I'm like, Sigilyph? Out of all the Pokemon? You like Sigilyph the most? Okay, everyone has a favorite Pokemon. Alright, it's there. There's my C. I know still at this being at the top and just seeing this in C is going to get so many people mad. And you know what? I'm happy it does. I hope it gets you mad, alright? Because Charizard is mid. Charmeleon is the perfect Pokemon. But Charizard is mid, and I will fight everyone on that. Gosh dang. So many Pokemon, okay? We're only 251 Pokemon in, and the chart's already expanded in this way. But let me tell you, this C is going to grow so much because there's so many Pokemon that I feel neutral about. And that's not a bad thing. It just means I don't hate them, but I don't have enough experience with them one way or another to be like, yeah, I really like them or I really hate them. Or even if I've used them, there's still some Pokemon where I'm like, yeah, they're fine. Like for my Pokemon Red playthrough, I'm using Nidoqueen. And I like Nidoqueen. I just don't, really enjoy it. It's just there. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. It's a chill Pokemon. But that's the rankings for Gen 2. We're done with Gen 2. And now, hopefully, this will save. Because, my God, I do not want to lose all that again, right? However, we will end that there for that.